What's going on, everyone? So we got some crazy news here by Brad Sams, and we're going to talk about some things here. This guy usually does a lot of stuff on Xbox, which is interesting. So according to him, he's thinking, and I don't know, there's some speculations about it. We don't know if this is the case or not, but Microsoft has definitely given some weird signs lately when it comes to Xbox. Do you think the Xbox Magnus will be canceled because of all this AI data feed and all this insanity? We're going to find out. Brad Sam says RAM pricing, GPU pricing, and all other components. And let's think about this. There is no chance next-gen consoles will be anything other than 2 times this gen. He thinks double the price. Magnus is going to be even more expensive. I'm telling you that right now. It is going to be a lot more expensive than the PlayStation 6 if it is going to exist and they're going to follow through with it. With the way things are going now, they could scrap it. He says, and no one will upgrade. Yeah, if it's going to be that expensive, it's going to be the biggest drawback you've ever seen. That's why I think when it comes to PlayStation 6, it's not coming out till late 2028. He says AI might kill the game console. Ooh, man. Then he says the Series S and X and PlayStation 5 are fine. Good enough to enjoy modern games with a high level of convenience. The upgrade from last gen to this gen was already slow. Can't imagine how that goes when the cost is 2 times the cost and the benefits are not as pronounced. Yeah, I know what he means, but Sony has a loyal base that buys games. They're capable of keeping a growing base. Microsoft, on the other hand, the series tanked down massively. It's just not, it gets worse each generation after the 360. So, if anything, the Magnus is going to be in a Steam Deck situation. And it already looked like that anyways, but with the way prices are going now, it might even be in a ROG Ally X situation. If it's going to be up to like $1,500 to $2,000, which I think it may have to get in that ballpark. And there was a lot of people speculating about that anyways. And when you think about the GPU going up, because they use AMD, now AMD says they're jacking up the prices of GPU, the RAM going up, because we know 100% that that's happening, because they just increased the price by 100% the other day. And then when you want to talk about SSDs, well, there's a monopoly on that, and they were saying third-party support on that is even worse. So the Magnus is going to be using the SSD because it's like a PC now, and PC market is getting hit the hardest. It's going to be using the AMD GPUs, and it needs that RAM, and DDR6 is going to be insanely expensive. So when you really think about all those factors in, does it really look like it's even smart to think about the Magnus for even 2027? Because you still have to buy all the parts and manufacture it. And they're not gonna subsidize. I want you guys to think about this. What do I mean by they're not gonna subsidize? Well, that 30% profit demand from Satya is not going to change. He's basically saying either you do this or it's getting shut down. Basically, that to me is an ultimatum on the Xbox legacy and on the Xbox brand. And the Series S and X, whatever's left over for that, he's turning it into a Ferrari price. From a gaming hardware standpoint, if you get what I mean. And he doesn't care whether it sells out or not. He's just not going to lose any profit, and everything needs to go to that 30% profit margin, which if you really think about it, it's kind of like saying I'm giving you an impossible ultimatum. So Brad comes down saying Microsoft's strategy to turn everything into an Xbox could turn out to be a very smart strategy if the pricing trend continues. Any significant business shift always needs a bit of luck, and RAM GPU pricing skyrocketing may be it. Basically, what he's trying to say is that, I mean, no, and everything's not Xbox, that's stupid. Is that from a third-party publishing standpoint, you could be okay. Because you're going to go from third parties anyways. But hardware, like, no, dude, an Xbox is what an Xbox is. I'm not going for that stupid nonsense. Nobody will ever convince me anything other than that. And I will always beat that stupid ideology down. But basically what I'm saying here is that, yeah, I mean, we've seen the results of the Ally. It already died off. Nobody talks about it anymore. Like I said, all that grift, all that nonsense, where's it at? You didn't report anything for it. It did not do well. It failed. It flopped. Nobody's talking about it. It's now been passed up and it's gone. Anything they have done after the 360 significantly tanks and gets worse and worse and worse. The only thing that's decent is Game Pass, and that's $30 a month right now, which people are thinking about as an optional choice if there are games that they are interested in. And as far as the Magnus is concerned, I don't know if there's any hope for this thing. Not because of what Microsoft did, but also because of the AI data feed. And they're one of the companies that are doing that. And Satya is making it very clear, you better comply or get out when it comes to AI now. And he is not happy with the results of the Copilot because they've invested so much into that. And Google Gemini is getting into their face. So when you really think about all these factors coming in, I don't see any spotlight for the Magnus. And if it comes out, it is going to flop significantly. This is being truthful. As a publisher, Microsoft could be fine. But when it comes to hardware, the Xbox Magnus is already done with this market the way it is. If they're trying to launch this in 2027, you can forget about it. They better try this in 2028 when everything disappears and things come back down. That bubble bursts, everything goes back to normal in a certain sense. So I don't think it ever will because it's just in an insane upside down and backwards aspect, and not backwards normally, backwards times 4, backwards times 8. Yeah, you know how you fast forward stuff? It's going backwards like that. Yeah, times 4 times 8. Yeah, that's where this market is going. It's ridiculous. It's crashing right into hell. It really is. And everybody knows this AI stuff is just ridiculous and inhuman. And you're just causing nothing but a ruckus here and chasing illusions that are not realistic. Harris comes out and says, I can't imagine Xbox or PlayStation would attempt to introduce new hardware at these inflated prices. No one will upgrade and keep what they have. I mean, yeah, for the most part, when you think about what people are looking at right now for these prices they're complaining about, that is going to be significantly worse. Who's going to buy that? It's like, think about the Ally. Look, that thing died. You see what I mean? It's $1,000 and you're overcharging for the other handheld. People would rather get that Steam Deck cheap on sale and go for the Switch 2, which is breaking records. You see what I mean? And look at that cheap sale that Sony did with the PlayStation. People rushed in to buy that because that is the legacy and that is the way things have always worked in this industry. Every single time. It has always been cheap entry, $399, stuff like that. $299 when you think about consoles, right? The Magnus coming in thinking about $1,500, $2,000, man, ain't nobody gonna want that. That's a freaking overpriced PC that don't nobody want. Because a lot of people that want their PCs already have it and they have the laptops that they want. So you're putting something in front of them that they don't care about, that's overpriced, that they're not interested in. That's why when even Valve and them were doing that one server saying that, oh, even the Steam machine, the things I'm making right here, it's more powerful than most of these PCs on that little survey. Obviously, there's more powerful ones, but it gives you the idea that most people do not want to spend that much and they want to just be able to play the game and not graphic cores. Japan was never been graphic cores. That's why Nintendo dominates there. And they dominate in general, along with Sony after that, and or like together because it's really about the games and having a whole bunch of games and being able to get that experience. There's people that even lock into handheld and play mobile. I'm trying to tell you, things look so good nowadays, graphics is not the focus. It's affordability and being able to get that experience. And that is what these idiots are missing here. They're trying to turn everything into an elite luxury product. And that's not going to work because you're just pricing out the majority of humanity who's already suffering anyways when it comes to food and all this other stuff. So it's just not going to work. And with this market being inflated the way it is now, because inflation is imaginary, but that's what they're deciding to do because it is a dream. They decide to want to make it like this to feed the data and to be insane drug dealers with RAM now and solid state drives. And now they're going to drug deal the GPUs and cartel CPUs next. Don't be surprised. It's just getting that stupid now. So you got that going on with insane monopolies. And I think it's just not looking good for the Magnus. It's just a realistic outlook. Steam Machine, too, is not looking good for that either. But that's going to be fine because they're not looking to sell it like a console. Though you're interfering with the organic algorithm, which kind of sucks. So do I think the Xbox Magnus is going to get canceled? I'm not going to clarify that as yes. But I will say that if I was Microsoft, with the way things are going now, you're going to have to hold off to 2028 or cancel it. And then hope that the Series S and X can do something. They're going to have to focus on that for their market. Nobody's going to buy the Ally, and that's just an extension of what's on PC. Everybody's going to stick with Steam and then go to GOG and do their Epic stuff and play on their gacha stuff and I don't know what to tell you. Game Pass could be used on the PC, but that's already available. The Magnus is just going to be an extension of what any PC can already do, and at the price that it's going to be, when you just see the price of everything in the PC market, because it's just PC stuff now. You wanted to move the PC, now look what's happening. The market is getting insanely invaded with ridiculous prices because of AI data feed. So that just makes the Magnus look unreasonable. And the PS6 is going to be fine because Sony's not going to do stupid stuff like that, and they do not have to worry about things because the PS5 is still selling fine, and they can tank this out to 2028 and finish off that generation strong. Microsoft could try to do the same thing and maybe redeem and take those 2 extra years and then start manufacturing maybe late 2027 or maybe early 2028 when prices are better, because you don't need to make 10 million anyways. You're not going to sell that, and things could be fine. That's the only remedy I see them doing, y'all. Other than that, I mean, I don't see what else is possible. There's no dancing around this. I was just reading recently that there was an update from I don't know if it was Micron or whoever, saying that the shortages are going to go beyond 2026 now. They said that they have clarified that. Well, that's going to happen. I mean, it's going to tank into 2027. Those prices are going to be there. You can't mass buy and mass manufacture and try to get things ready to try to launch at the end of 2027 with that. You're going to have to charge a fortune. So you're going to have to wait even longer. You're going to have to wait till 2027, maybe mid or late, and that kicks into 2028. So if that's going to be the case, then yeah, the Magnus can now come out to 2028. And I tried to tell you guys a while ago, dude, it ain't coming out until 2026. You know all these people thinking all this imaginary stuff. Oh, GTA 6 and that. I'm like, please. Like that, I'm sorry, but that boomer guy, whatever his name is, Boomstick, thinking, oh, it's going to come out and be the place on a series on the Magnus. I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, what do you got to say about that now? See, it was all a fantasy. These fanboy fantasies. AGN was the one telling you the truth. So this is not beating down the Magnus. This is saying, with the combination of what Microsoft has done to their base and a combination of this insanity with AI data feed, with RAM going up and being backstocked insane, HDD being backstocked to SSD buy, to NAND aspects, to GPU pricing going up for AMD because NVIDIA's backing off. Now they're going to have to get a monopoly and jack things up. They're going to do it. What is it looking like, guys? Let's do the math here and let's be some good detectives here. What does this all add up to? The next generation consoles have to be pushed back, and they should, because this generation was broken to begin with. Even the Switch OLED may be getting pushed back along with the Switch 2 Lite, because that type of stuff is going to happen. Everything is getting affected. Nothing gets out of this. You know what I mean? But when you think about who gets hit, it's like we got to talk about Magnus, because the Series S and X have failed significantly. They died off. And they were trying to think about maybe starting something and jumping. No, it's not going to work now with the way this market is. So it's not just Microsoft, it's AI data feed, which they're severely a part of with data centers and power plants and poisoning the damn ocean and the water supply, because that's what that stuff does. When you get too much going, it's not good. So this is just going to add up to the end result of either cancel the Magnus or you're going to have to launch it closer to the PS6. If there's anything about an Xbox handheld, think about what Valve said about the Steam Deck too. Guys, it's just bad at the moment. So this is just the news that is just real. So let me know what you guys think about this. Sorry to bring this to you this way. And I know we want to look for something positive. Remember, I'm facing the same thing you are, and I'm coming and telling you, and I'm reading it all. So we're all facing the same thing. It's just, are we dealing with it and being strong about it? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out.